businesses petition for that change due to the disruption it causes to their commerce. In Georgia, Democrat Stacey Abrams ended her challenge to Republican Brian Kemp, effectively conceding the race to the new governor, Brian Kemp. Russell Stroud, Nuga Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
Expect mostly clear skies to continue through your nighttime. Chilly, but not as cold as the last couple of nights. Lows upper 30s. For Sunday, another fine day. Mostly sunny, dry, mild highs, lower 60s. More clouds rolling in Monday. Could see a spotty shower highs into the upper 50s. Looking for a new career? Georgia Northwestern Technical College is where you need to be, featuring over 200 programs. Get focused. Get hired. Spring admissions deadline is December 3rd. Visit gntc.edu. And I'm Sourcine 12 Chief Meteorologist Matt Report.
The Radio 92.7.
Hi, my name is James, and today I want to tell you about Pediatric Dentistry at Chattanooga. That means they only treat kids. Fun fact. Did you know that a dentist for kids goes to school 2 years longer than a regular dentist? When I see my dentist, I get to play games. When my teeth are clean, I get to pick out a toy to take home. I love toys. You really should see my dentist. It is fun.
Money, get away.
Hello, Chattanooga. Welcome to Mortgage Sense with Kevin, a common sense approach to mortgages. My name is Kevin Blair with Element Funding. I've got the lovely Beth Mansell with Element Funding. Good morning, Beth.
It's good afternoon.
It is good afternoon, and it is a beautiful day. Are you kidding? After all the rain this week?
I know. And it's almost Thanksgiving. I got my Grateful Gobbler shirt on.
Yes,
I know
you do.
that Teresa Biggs was in the station yesterday talking about the Grateful Gobbler. That happens every year in Chattanooga on Thanksgiving morning. Y'all should go sign up.
Are you running it this year?
No, I always sign up for the gobbling in bed where you can like just get the T-shirt and pay money and you get to stay in bed.
And you get to say
but I
that?
still help the cause.
You know what? I bet we have somebody today that might be running in it.
I know.
I bet we do.
If you can see her on Facebook, call me my shoulder.
Well, you have tuned in to Nuga Radio 92.7. Again, I'm Kevin Blair with Element Funding. This is Mortgage Sense with Kevin, and we've got two very special guests with us today.
We do.
Well, first, and I want to say thank you. She's one of our sponsors, Miss Melanie Moore, with Full Disclosure Property Inspections.
It is my pleasure to be here, sir. Thank you for asking me.
How are you this morning?
I am doing fantastic.
Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being one of our co-owners of our show.
Absolutely my pleasure.
It means a lot to us. And do you know this young lady behind me?
I surely do. She's one of the best in the market.
You know, and nice and sweet. And what's funny about it is we've been Facebook friends for, I don't know, maybe a year or two. And she's never returned one of my phone calls. She's never agreed to meet with me.
That is not true.
And, you know, we've got a new guy that started with us this week or this month. And he got her to sit down and have a cup of coffee with me.
That's perfect. We're a team, Kevin. We're a team. It doesn't matter how they get here as long as they do.
It's not about me, is it?
Nope. It is. I mean, it is Mortgage Sense with Kevin.
It is Mortgage Sense with Kevin.
And I'm going to start adding, and Beth.
Should we go ahead and introduce her, or do we just talk about her?
We'll introduce her.
We'll introduce her. This is Miss Jennifer Regan with Keller Williams. Good morning, Jennifer.
Good afternoon, Kevin.
It is afternoon. It is after 12 now. How are you this morning?
I'm doing really well. Thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you. It means a lot. It really does. And I will tell you what, I always start every show with the rules of our show. Okay. Melanie's been through it with me before. This is your first time of many. Okay.
I hope so.
And what we do, there is a method to our madness. Okay. We want this show to be about information. We live here. We go to church here. We raise kids here. We shop here. We want to be an asset to this community. So we want our show to be about great information. Okay. It's not call 800 to buy this or call 800 to buy this, or we're trying to sell this. Now I get it. You sell homes.
I do.
I sell money. Miss Melanie, she sells home inspections.
And peace of mind.
And peace of mind.
Knowledge.
And knowledge
is power.
And Beth sells Kevin. Okay. And yes, you have the hardest job. And I get it that we're all in sales. However, we want our show to be about information. Okay. So now, as a guest on our show, what we want to know is, who's Jennifer Regan?
Oh,
Tell us something about you, not your real estate career, but tell us something about you. Are you from this area?
I am. I was born and raised right here in Chattanooga, and really proud to be so.
Fantastic. So you've been here, what, 28, 29 years now?
Yeah, we'll call it 29.
We'll call it 29.
That's good. I like that.
Now, I think you told me you went to Hickson High School, correct?
I did.
All right. And
My husband went.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I graduated a very long time ago.
Oh, so did he.
Absolutely.
And so did I, quite honestly.
Absolutely. Well, you're a native here. And so how long have you been in the real estate business?
I got my real estate license in April of 2015. So I am currently into my 4th year.
Fantastic.
Yes.
What'd you do before?
I come from an accounting background. I worked for a couple of places here in town, doing medical accounting and different types of accounting.
Right.
So I think that experience has served me well now that I am in real estate.
Fantastic. So are you a numbers geek?
I am very much so.
That is, no wonder we clicked. Because I am a straight up numbers fanatic.
Yes, I like numbers very much.
You know, it's so important in our business, and we're going to get into that in a little bit because I talk about it every week. The games that are played in our business, it makes me sick. I mean, it literally makes me sick to my stomach.
And they're usually all around numbers.
And it is. It comes down to all about numbers.
But at the end, numbers don't lie.
There you go. There you go. And we've got some great information. I don't know if you saw, we call our show Mortgage Sense with Kevin. It's about real estate. It's about financing. And we do our 2 cents. Kevin gives us 2 cents. And I don't know if you saw that, what we did yesterday on Facebook Live. And we're going to share it again today, and we're going to talk about it. But first, now you've always been with Keller Williams?
I have not. I have been with Keller Williams a little over 2 years now.
Okay, fantastic. Now, do you work strictly with buyers, strictly with sellers, or do you do both?
I do both, and I enjoy doing both.
Okay.
So I don't discriminate. I love buyers. I love sellers.
If you now you're not a part of a team, right?
I am not.
You're on your own.
I am me, myself, and I.
Absolutely. Now you have a 13-year-old daughter?
Yes, sir.
Well, let's give her a shout out.
Hey, Macy girl.
Hey, Macy. I hope you're listening to Mom.
I'm excited about your parade on Thursday.
Absolutely. So, what do you love most about this business?
For me, I think it's the human aspect of it. I love working with people, whether they are buyers or whether they are sellers.
Right.
They've come to us as the professional, and they have questions. They all have questions. And I think for us as real estate professionals, it really is our obligation and our responsibility to educate them. And that's my favorite part of it, is to really dig down, take the time to answer their questions. And so at the end of the day, they truly are making the best decision for them.
Okay. Now that's exactly why you're here.
Oh,
okay. That's exactly why you're here, because I don't think what we do, Beth, and we talk about this all the time. In fact, one of our guests that's out there talking to my wife, I've hired 2 new guys, okay, that have just started with us in the last 60 days. Neither one of them are what I would call hardcore salespeople. Okay. I don't think what we do is sales.
I don't consider it sales.
I don't. I mean, it's when a family comes to us, if it's right, it'll be right now. It'll be right 30 days from now. It'll be right 6 months from now. It'll be right a year from now.
Yes.
And I've always said there's 5 major things 5 major decisions. Now, this is a Kevinism. There's 5 major decisions we make in our lifetime: getting married, having kids, buying a home, changing jobs. And lady, I've only changed jobs 4 times in 40 years. I take that pretty serious. And then there's the spiritual part of our life. So each one of those, Kevin Blair, Element Funding, the Blair Smiles team, we take that very serious. And the four of us in this room just happen to work in an industry where people are buying the biggest purchase that they have.
Absolutely.
And so we take it serious. And I know this lady does. I'm pointing like people out there can see me pointing. Of course, if you watch this on Facebook Live,
Right.
you can.
We might need just the camera, though.
Well,
I can't see Melanie over here.
You can't see Melanie. Should I move?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's get all the ladies in the picture. Can you see her now?
Well, your shoulder's in the way.
Well, I can't help that.
I'm just in a short mood today.
You're just in a short mood today?
Yeah.
Well, Mel, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little about your company.
Well, I'm Melaine Moore with Full Disclosure Property Inspection. I do residential and commercial inspections. I've been doing them in the Chattanooga market for about 10 years now. Before that, I spent 28 years in the construction industry. So I brought a whole lot of background into something like this. And you're talking about serving people. That is exactly what we do. This is the biggest choice of their life.
Absolutely.
They are terrified especially when they're first-time home buyers. And with me, they are looking to me to guide them through learning about that property so they can make a good choice. It's not my choice, my job, or Jennifer's job to make a choice for them. We are there to give them the information and let them make the right choice for them. And if we do it right, it's a much easier process for them. And they know they end up making the right choice instead of being pushed into something that somebody's just hard selling them. Like you said, the hard sell people really hurt this industry.
What amazes me about our industry, okay, because we all take there's a lot of pressure in our business, and the pressure of getting a deal closed, okay, a pressure of getting somebody approved. And it's horrible because inspectors and appraisers are blamed for a lot of our deals falling apart. And to me, that is so wrong, because you're going out there on the behalf of the buyer, okay? And if you find something, if you uncover things, guess what? That's for their protection.
Absolutely.
I tell the story over and over and over. I've got one of our realtor partners that 10 years ago built a brand new home and felt like, well, I don't need to have an inspection. It's a brand new home. Well, she went to sell that home 8 years later. And I think we've talked about this. She went to sell it, Jennifer, she went to sell that home 8 years later. The guest bathroom, the tub had never been hooked up to the sewer system. And it was just, the water was just, and they didn't find that out for 8 years later. So to me, the inspection is the best money that can be spent.
When you called me yesterday to come here, I was on a new home inspection that I will be doing a follow-up for because it was not right.
Right.
There was a lot of balls dropped.
Well, and you come in this business with 38 years experience, right?
Well, 28 years in the construction industry before I came in property inspection.
Right. And you're a master inspector.
I am a master inspector.
You've got that.
That takes a little work.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a lot of inspections under your belt. You have to go through a review board. I mean, it's a lot to get to that level.
Very good. Well, I tell you, if you just tuned in, you're listening to Mortgage Sense with Kevin, a common sense approach to mortgages. I'm Kevin Blair with Element Funding. I've got Beth Mansell with Element Funding. I've got Miss Jennifer Regan with, I say that right?
Yes, you did.
I did.
Thank you.
I'd look to make sure with Keller Williams and Miss Melaine Moore with Full Disclosure Property Inspection. Thank you both for being here. It means a lot to me. It really does. Miss Jennifer, what's the best advice that you give somebody if they're wanting to list their home?
If they're wanting to list, interview a realtor, interview several realtors.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah. I mean, there's, we all have different personalities, different ways that we do business, and not every realtor is going to fit every seller.
I told you were going to love her.
I do.
You really do have to, because it is a relationship. You are going into a relationship with these people. And at the end of the day, if you are the one that fits best with their personality and meets the need, then you're going to be responsible for a lot. And they're entrusting you with that responsibility.
See, I told you there's a reason she was here.
That's good, because we say all the time you should shop around for a lender also.
It doesn't
Absolutely.
It doesn't hurt my feelings. It doesn't make me mad. It doesn't offend me. I think people should shop. Okay. What I try to do in our business is give them information to ask the right questions.
That's right.
Because if we're asking the right questions, it exposes the game. And I don't care if I'm the first person they've talked to, Jennifer, or the fifth person they've talked to, I'm going to expose the game. So if I've told you what's going to happen in the process, and then it happens, all right, I look like I know what I'm talking about.
Yes, you do.
If I'm telling you what is going to happen and it's already happened to you, I'm exposing the game. And to me, and you said it, you said it, this is a relationship business. Building a business, and it is a Fannie Mae fact, 27% of all people that close a loan this year will do something again next year. 27%.
That's an incredible number.
That's an incredible number. And a more sickening number that we got from Keller Williams was only 12% of people use the same realtor the second time around. All right. Which means the reason that we like to partner with people is we help our realtor partners stay in contact with their buyers and with their sellers, because we have what is called a referral tree. So we keep up with every single transactions. Are we getting things thrown at us from the peanut gallery?
No, we have fans here.
We have fans here
I've
today.
never had fans here before. It's exciting.
It
You
is.
can actually see them on our YouTube link.
Yeah, and they're waving at us.
And they're waving at us.
But the key word there, Miss Jennifer, was a relationship.
It most definitely is a relationship. And for me, you know, and a lot of agents that I've had the pleasure of working with over the last 4 years, is that relationship continues past the closing table if you've done your job correctly.
If you've done your job, that's right. What's nice now, I'm older than everybody in this room. I'm always the oldest one in the room. Well, you know what? Now that Clay's here out in the lobby, he's the oldest one in the room. But I will tell you, he's not in the room. He's in the building. But I will tell you what happens, and what's nice, after 19 years in this business now, I have kids that are coming to me that I put their parents in business, or put their parents in homes. I've got multiple transactions from families that keep coming back to us. And that means so much to us.
Well, doesn't the National Association of Realtors say something like every 5 to 7 years people move?
That's right.
Or close to that?
That's right.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Man, that's happening to me too. Does that mean I'm getting old?
No.
I didn't say that. I would never say that when you're in the room.
Not old, it's seasoned.
I don't even know if I like that word.
Really?
Being seasoned.
Experienced.
You know, I've got a little click about what Jennifer was talking about interviewing several agents to see to find the one that suits you. The better agents in town. I deal with agents all the time. They are my circle of friends and associates and work, everything. Agents are also interviewing their clients. I mean, a good agent is not going to take every single person that wants them to be there, because they are going to talk to this person and see, is this person someone that I can work with and be successful? And if they don't have that feeling that they can be successful for this person and for themselves, they have enough sense to not sign on to that particular listing or, buyer. Because you've got to feel like you're going to be able to relate with someone. I've actually not accepted work before because just something didn't click, that I didn't think the chemistry was going to be there.
Well,
it's just going to be a hard push all the way through.
And that is very important, because there are people that we just don't need to do business with. I mean, in personalities click, or they don't click, because if we do want, because it's important, and I don't want to get off on a tangent, because I can get off on this tangent. I really can. This relationship is so important about the way we take care of people. And,
Absolutely.
And I get very, very passionate about people not getting taken care of. In fact, we'll share with you here in a minute. I'll get Beth to bring it up. We've had several situations in the last 2 months where people have gotten completely taken, and it makes me sick to my stomach. When I talk about, excuse me, Beth, I didn't mean to kick you. When I talk about giving great numbers and giving great service, lady, we have closed almost 2,000 transactions, and we've only had 2 turned down in underwriting. Now, and I'll tell you, the second one that was turned down, we still disagree with it. Okay, we were still right, but we don't blame the underwriters. I mean, we take what we do serious. We've got a great team. There's 7 of us on our team, and there's probably 100 years experience. We don't blame underwriters. We take it on, and when I sign my name to that letter, they are approved. Now, I'm not breaking my arm, patting myself on the back. All right. But I'll try. How's that? You bring me a house today. In fact, when I finish the show, I've got to go back to the office we've got an offer going out today. You give me a house, you give me a closing date, the closest I've ever been to closing costs, and you come from an accounting background and you're going to love it, is 3 cents. The furthest I've ever been away is $58. Okay. Now, I would rather tell somebody, we've got a situation. Beth, can you pull it up? We've got a situation where somebody came to us. One of our partners brought us somebody. They came to us. We've gone through the process, and they decided not to use us, which is fine. That happens. All right. But what they did is they said, Kevin, your rate. You remember several weeks ago. This has been almost 2 months ago, where the rates went up twice in 1 week, big time.
Yes.
They said your rate's higher and your closing costs are higher. What is that? That text, it said, we can't say the name, okay, because it's here in Chattanooga. They truly wish that they would have worked with you. There's $6,500 in discrepancies.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That hurts.
Yeah, it hurts.
And what's difficult for us, especially Kevin, is that he told them that the estimate that the other company had given was wrong. It wasn't set up wrong.
It was total bogus just to try to get the deal.
Right. So they were surprised once they got right before closing, when their other house was sold. They paid for the appraisal, the inspection, the earnest money. They had no choice but to close.
Fantastic. Well, Miss Jennifer, tell us what's the best way to reach you?
I can be reached on my cell phone, which is basically attached to me at all times. That number is area code 423-596-4729.
Fantastic. Miss Mel?
It is 423-255-1300. And yes, I do hang it on my earring when I get in the shower.
Absolutely.
All right. You can call the Blair Smiles team at 423-488-7571, or you can find us online at blairsmilesteam.com.
You're listening to Mortgage System with Kevin, and we'll be right back.
Mommy! 92.7 Nuga Radio.
Buying a home is one of the most exciting things you will ever do, but it can also be scary and nerve-wracking. I'm Melanie Moore, owner and certified master inspector with Full Disclosure Property Inspection. Let me help calm those nerves by putting my 37 plus years of experience in the construction and inspection industry to work for you, providing you a thorough, well-explained quality inspection to make sure this home of your dreams doesn't become your nightmare. Call me, Melanie Moore, at 255-1300 or find me online at fdhomeinspection.com.
The Blair Smiles team of Element Funding is your complete resource for all things Chattanooga mortgage. Kevin Blair, Stacy Miles, and the rest of the team work to provide the highest quality and best service found in Chattanooga. And they work by the motto, when we say you're approved, you can start packing. Call them anytime, 423-488-7571. Be sure to ask about their no closing cost program. They can offer up to 100% financing. For more information and useful tools, visit their website, blairsmilesteam.com, and MLS number 151159.
This is Valerie Epstein of Milligan Reynolds Guarantee Title Company. Locally and independently owned, we've been in business on Cherry Street in downtown Chattanooga for 80 years. When quality matters, our team of 3 attorneys is able to navigate complex commercial and residential real estate deals more quickly, even within 24 hours for cash deals. Let us show you how to save money with a 1031 exchange. Ask your realtor to write us into your sales contract or visit us online at milliganreynolds.com.
Life is complicated. The Salto Agency is simple. And that's something very good to know in a world where insurance decisions are all too complicated. Taylor Salto and his team at Farmers Insurance will work with you to identify the insurance coverage that best suits your needs and provide a custom tailored solution to your home, life, auto, or business insurance. At the Salto Agency, you can get all your insurance in one simple location. Let the Salto Agency provide peace of mind so that you know that you and your family will be cared for properly. Stop by their new office today at 6229 Vance Road, Suite 115. You can reach the Salto Agency online at saltoinsurance.com. That's SOLTAU insurance.com. Let Taylor Salto at Farmers Insurance make your life a little simpler today. Farmers Insurance, the Salto Agency, custom tailored insurance.
My name is Jane, and today I want to tell you about Pediatric Dentistry at Chattanooga. That means they only treat kids. Fun fact. Did you know that a dentist for kids goes to school 2 years longer than a regular dentist? When I see my dentist, I get to play games. When my teeth are clean, I get to pick out a toy to take home. I love toys. You really should see my dentist. It is fun.
As a realtor, you can easily protect both your buyers and sellers with a home warranty. Hi, I'm Beth Kelly with American Home Shield. We're the founders and leaders of the home warranty industry with more than 45 years of experience. American Home Shield has a network of over 14,000 contractors to respond to your clients' unexpected breakdowns. We even offer a rekey service with all buyers' warranties at no additional cost. Find out more about all that American Home Shield has to offer and find us online at ahs.com.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Hamilton County Sheriff's Office says human remains may have been found near Boy Scout Road in a field by a hunter. Detectives of the Criminal Investigations Division are working with the Hamilton County Medical Examiner's Office to process that new scene. Red Bank Police Chief Robert Simpson announced he's resigning from his job just a little bit over a year after stepping into the position. Red Bank City Manager said that John Wright has been named as the interim police chief. He also served as the chief before Simpson stepped in when his predecessor was fired. Riverbend organizers say the festival may be shortened to 4 or 5 days starting next year. Reports say local businesses petitioned for that change due to the disruption it causes to their commerce. In Georgia, Democrat Stacey Abrams ended her challenge to Republican Brian Kemp, effectively conceding the race to the new governor, Brian Kemp. Russell Stroud, Chattanooga Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
We expect mostly clear skies to continue through your nighttime. Chilly, but not as cold as the last couple of nights. Lows upper 30s. For Sunday, another fine day. Mostly sunny, dry, mild highs, lower 60s. More clouds rolling in Monday. Could see a spotty shower highs into the upper 50s. Looking for a new career? Georgia Northwestern Technical College is where you need to be, featuring over 200 programs. Get focused, get hired. Spring admissions deadline is December 3rd. Visit gntc.edu. And I'm Storm Gene 12, Chief Meteorologist, Badger 4.
Chattanooga Radio 92.7.
Hello again, Chattanooga. Welcome back to Chattanooga Radio 92.7. You're listening to Mortgage Sense with Kevin, a common sense approach to mortgages. My name is Kevin Blair with Element Funding. I've got the lovely, nice, talented, sweet Beth Mansell with Element Funding with me.
Thank you. I'll pay you later.
You'll pay me later, absolutely. I've got Melaine Moore with Full Disclosure Property Inspections, one of our great sponsors of our show. And we've got the lovely, talented Jennifer Regan. Good morning, and thank you for staying with us.
Good afternoon.
I know, I keep
and you are
saying
so
that.
welcome.
I don't know why. It's still,
Get off that.
Are we still on the time change thing?
we must be.
We used to be on at 9 a.m. I think it was a hard habit to break.
It is a hard habit to break.
It's like the song.
You know? Okay, let's be careful. All right, so I've got a very important question, and Jennifer, I'm going to ask you first. Okay. And I'm going to come back, and Melanie's going to be in the hot seat as well. All right. We talked about it a little bit before. You sell homes.
I do.
Okay. I sell money. And there's probably 2,500 realtors in Chattanooga.
There are.
1,800 active, I think, right? Something like that.
Okay.
There's 200 to 300 lenders here in town. So we've got to set ourselves up different. Okay. There's got to be something, whether it's special, whether we do something different, or the way we conduct our business. Why should somebody that's listening to us out there now, why should somebody call Jennifer? What makes you special?
Well, I think, again, it goes back to that whole relationship aspect. I think for me, I may be shooting myself in the financial foot, but I really dig in and work for the relationship part of it. These people have entrusted me with one of the biggest decisions they're ever going to make, whether they are buyers or sellers. That's a big deal. And I never take that for granted. That's always in the forefront of my mind when I'm working with people. And I tell my clients, I will love on you, I will fight for you, and I will protect you from the beginning all the way to the finish line. So, at the end of the day, for me, it's about, a client that I worked with last year calling me and saying, oh my goodness, my hairdresser moved out of town. Who do you recommend? Right. Or, my kitchen sink just sprung a leak. Who do you know? So that's the kind of long-term relationship that I want with my people.
So you want me to give you my opinion?
Sure.
And you can take that and 50 cents and go buy it. We're not even 50 cents anymore. You can't buy a cup of coffee.
Only if you're old.
No.
Only if you go to McDonald's.
And you're old.
Mel, are you looking at me when you say that?
Yes, she is.
I will tell you.
Prove nothing.
Yeah, right. I will tell you, I think you just sustained your financial stability. Okay. Because anybody can do a transaction.
That's right.
Okay. And anybody can be pushed. I have raised 3 kids. I've got 3 grown kids, 9 grandkids. And I know you laugh at me every time I say that.
No, I know.
But I will tell you, I've raised them. Have you ever heard of Zig Ziglar?
I have.
Okay. We raised our kids on Zig Ziglar, and 2 of his principles that I have lived by, and I'm talking about for 40 plus years now. I can get everything in life I want if I help enough other people get what they want. That's the way I run our business. That's the way I run our family. That's the way, in fact, what I like about the 4 of us in this room, nobody tells us what we're worth. Nobody. I haven't put a cap on Beth. You 2 don't have a cap. I don't have a cap. And I like that part of it. The other principle that we have raised my family on is I'm always going to do more than what I'm required to do. And that is so important in our business of service because we are in the service industry.
Absolutely.
And I love that. I love your answer. I really do.
Thank you.
All right, Miss Mel.
Yes, sir.
What makes you special?
What makes me special?
Why should people be calling you?
Because I never wanted the fact that I'm a woman in a man's industry to have any reflection on anything about me. But the fact is, I stepped into the construction industry when I was 17 years old.
Right.
We were not welcome back then, for sure. I learned a long time ago, and this is not bragging, but I learned I had to be 3 times as good and not carry a chip on my shoulder to be accepted as an equal in the man's industry. And I strove every day to learn something and watch people. And I learned how to dig a better hole by watching people.
Right.
I never told someone how to do something until I watched how they did it, because it may be, hey, man, that's a great idea. I'm going to do it that way. But it may be, have you thought about doing it this way? So I couldn't say, no, that's wrong. You had to say, have you thought about doing it this way? You have to be a little more tactful. I come with a huge background. I worked with a fantastic geotechnical engineering firm for 8 years under 6 different geotechnical engineers as a field service tech. I learned an amazing amount of, I'd already retired from developing by then. I went and got a job with them because I wanted to learn their industry.
Right.
And that's what I did right before I came into this. I want to go in with true knowledge. When, like you said, I don't create conditions. I observe them and I report them. But then I'm going to say, now let me tell you about that. Anything man builds, man can fix.
I love it.
And if I have the knowledge to explain to them that this crack that doesn't look like much really is, or this crack that looks like it's about to fall down really isn't, then that they can continue forward. And I am not going to tell them that unless I am confident in what I'm saying. I don't have a problem saying, you know what, I don't know, but I'll find out, because I have a 38-year history with people that I can call and say, hey, man, look at this picture. What am I looking at? I don't mind doing that.
So let me ask you 2 questions. Number 1, do you actually, and I know the answer to this, and you're going to throw something at me. Do you actually get out in the field with your boots and your jeans and crawl into these houses?
Every day.
Lady, you're better, because I'm not going to. I'm sorry. I'm just, it ain't going to happen. But no, I knew the answer to that. So you're the one you're going out inspecting these homes.
I am the whole company. I am a one-stop shop. I have had employees in the past. When I was the builder, I had a lot of men working for me. The fact is, these days, everyone wants a paycheck and no one wants to earn it. I'm a micromanager, and I got tired of that. Right now, My boss, she's hard, but we argue it out. And she gets her way.
Well, she gets her way, doesn't she? Yeah, I feel your pain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surrounded by women. I am, and I'm surrounded by very good, strong women, and I don't mind that at all. So let me ask you one other question: do you do pre-listing inspections?
Oh man, I so encourage them. My mother was a broker,
okay,
so I came from the real estate industry also. An analogy I use, it's like if you ask me to sell a car for you, but you won't let me open the hood to see if there's an engine in it before I sell it.
I love it.
I did a home last week that I felt so bad. I'm very familiar with the listing agent. There was no way this home had raw sewage under it, was going to have to be hazmat team cleaned. And she had invested how much? It's what, $500 or so to get a house on the market minimum by the time you do your staging. And it takes a lot of money out of the listing agent's pocket to put a house on the market. The fact that if their seller will not put a few $100s into making sure they have a marketable product, I'm not sure that they're investing in this deal. They're not becoming a partner with that realtor. And I think they should be a partner with that realtor and have something invested and help make that product marketable. Plus, if there is something big, even if they don't have the money to fix it, they can either disclose it or they can arrange to have it fixed prior to closing. And if the home is worth enough, you might be able, if it's got a bad roof, you may be able to get a bid on that roof, add that to your sales price. And as long as it will appraise out, then you pay for it at closing. The buyer is happy to get a new roof. They're willing to pay more.
That's exactly where I was going with
Absolutely.
this, because here's what I like about partnerships and dealing with people that we work with all the time. Because 80% of what we do is fixing problems. All right. If we know ahead of time, if we're doing a pre-inspection as a lender, and let's say they've got the equity, but they don't have the cash to put the new roof on. They've got the equity in the house. We know about it ahead of time. We do an escrow holdback, and we can do it for any amount. So things can happen, and being afraid and not wanting to do things, because guess what? It's going to come out.
It is.
Every time.
It's going to come out.
And people fall in love with these homes and they invest in this. I mean, they spend money to get to that point. It's so much more fair all the way across the board. If you'll get a pre-listing inspections are harder for me. That home hasn't been cleaned up. It hasn't been staged.
Right.
It's hard to get around and do everything,
right.
But it is such a good value for everyone involved. Everyone's going to end up making more money. And the idea is, you want to make all the money you can, but you also want to get the best deal for your client. And I have had buyers call me back, inspect a wonderful house, roof bad. They come back for another inspection. I'm like, what happened? Well, our lender, we had the money to put a roof on the house, but our lender wouldn't let us spend it because we have to keep that money in the bank. So we had to walk away from that house because the buyer, the seller couldn't put a roof on it either. So that deal died and they had no control over it. They were willing to buy a roof.
Right.
The lender refused to let them do it. So if they had known up front, it could have been maybe worked through, and it broke their hearts. They were in love with that house.
Right.
And it makes me sad to see that happen.
I'll tell you what, if you just tuned in, you're listening to Mortgage Sense with Kevin, a common sense approach to mortgages here on Nuga Radio 92.7. And if you can tell, I am surrounded by very, very sharp women. And I mean that, ladies. Beth included. Y'all been dropping some great, and I don't mean that as I'm not being a smart aleck.
Okay.
Y'all are dropping some great knowledge and some great information, which is what I wanted for this show. Okay.
Let me ask a question to Jennifer as a realtor. What happens if I'm buying a house or I'm selling a house and the buyer gets an inspection and the inspection there's so much that needs to get fixed? Like, what happens to that listing?
Well, it could go one of several ways, really. Of course, the inspection is done to evaluate all the things that are good and bad with a home. And at the end of the day, it's up to the buyer and the buyer's agent to sit down and decide which of those things are going to be the most important that would require repair or replacement. A buyer doesn't necessarily have to ask for everything that shows up on an inspection report.
Right.
You know, and I encourage the buyers to really take a look. What are the most important things? What are the bigger issues? You know, the operational systems, you know, heating and air, roof, that kind of thing. Something that's going to be really detrimental to your home.
Well, most of it is just home maintenance.
Absolutely.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's just
Absolutely.
home maintenance or lack of home maintenance.
Right.
Because like what Melanie was just saying, if it's man-made, it can be man-fixed.
And I'd like to say something about what Melanie said about getting the pre-listing inspection. You know, I think that takes a lot of anxiety out of the transaction for the seller as well.
Absolutely.
I think more so because you're sitting there after they've, you know, the buyer goes and orders the inspection, the inspector comes out and does the inspection, and then everybody's on pins and needles, you know, and if they get that done ahead of time, it takes a lot of the anxiety and the pressure off for the seller who's probably really anxious to begin with.
If there's something wrong, they're going to know it. They can fix it. It may save them money, and they could make money. So it's great advice.
Plus, they're not fixing it at a premium dollar because they only have 10 days.
Boom. There you go.
These contractors are aware of that.
There you go. Perfect.
Right.
Great
That's
advice.
a big difference.
Great advice.
Well, we had a realtor partner who told us she now requires it for her to list the house.
Mhm.
And since she's done that, she's not had one listing fall apart.
Not one.
If I were a listing agent, I would require it.
Well,
if they can't step up that much, that makes me nervous.
That makes you nervous. All right. So let me tell you how we do things, because at Element Funding, with our group, we do things very, very different. Okay. Yeah. I told you we're approaching 2,000 transactions. Jennifer, we get everything up front before I sign off on it. Okay. When we bring you a client or when we bring you an approval, it is a true approval. We had a situation this week. In fact, it was not this week, it was last week, where a guy called us on Wednesday. He was supposed to be closing on Thursday. And the line, and I can't say it on air, the line of course, you know what, that he got, okay, of why this loan wasn't closing, it was ridiculous. And it was a great story. I mean, it's one of the best stories one of the best excuses I've ever heard. But the seller was packed up. They were packed up. The domino effect of what we do as the lenders is so important. Now, what I did for this guy, I said, okay, you've already been through it. You've already jumped through the hoops. Let's get all your information. And it was a USDA loan. He got me all the information. It took me 3 days. Okay. It took me 3 days to get all of his information, but it took me 2 full days to get all the information. We pre-underwrote it. We actually contacted USDA and they said no. All right. Now, that's what we do from the very beginning. To me, that's the only way to do it. I mean, there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. And I'm going to tell you, and we laugh about this all the time. Okay. Beth, what's your rate? What's your rate?
What's your rate?
What's your rate?
What's your rate?
What's your rate? I'm telling you, every single day I get calls. Kevin, what are your rates? What are your rates without points? Now, in our business, okay, it's about programs. And when we say we take a common sense approach to mortgages and we take a comprehensive approach to mortgages, we're going to sit down with your clients and find out what's important to them.
And it's about the client.
It is about the client.
What their situation is, because it isn't a cut and dry answer of what your rate is, because someone with the 800 credit score, their rate's going to be different than someone with the 640 credit score.
Absolutely.
You know, someone putting down 30% is going to be different than someone who needs 100% financing. So it's really not that simple just to answer the question, what's your rate?
So I'm going to read you something. And we very seldom, and thank you for printing this for me, Beth, in big, bold letters, because I don't have to put my glasses on to read this.
I didn't print it.
I typically do not give anybody, any other company's name out. I don't like the free advertising for it. Okay. And this is on our website. You can go see it. We put it on our website because we want people to see it. And as I show it to you, it came from Quicken Loans. Okay. It's talking about the mortgage rates, and you can go online, and it drives us crazy because guess what? You can't be approved to buy a home in 7 minutes. It's just,
it would be nice, but that's not the reality.
It's not happening. Okay. They got great commercials.
They do.
funny commercials, but it's not happening. So let me tell you about this. This is a 30-year fixed rate at 4.875, which is unheard of right now. Okay?
It is.
The payment on a $200,000 30-year fixed loan at 4.875, and by the way, requires 25% down. Okay, didn't tell you that in the bold when you clicked on the rate. 2.125 in points. Okay, 2 and an eighth points. Yeah, wow, Melanie.
That's
right?
expensive. Even I know that.
Okay, so
Yeah, that's high.
now get
That's a
this.
lot.
So they look at that and they call me and they say, okay, what are your rates today? Okay, what are your rates today? I mean, are we talking FHA? Are we talking USDA? Are we talking conventionals? Okay, so it's a conventional rate.
Are you putting 25% down and
Right.
paying over $4,000?
Right. So this loan, that 2.125% is $4,250. $4,250. That's over and above the closing cost. Now, and the way that we do our closing cost, we don't charge origination fees. We don't charge discount points unless it makes financial sense. Okay. Now, in this situation, it's going to save that buyer $30 a month on a $200,000 loan. To spend $4,250 to save $30, it's going to take them 11 and a half years to recoup that money. But you know what everybody's fixated on?
The rate.
The rate. Okay. And it's not about the rate.
And it sounds like I'm picking on them because I am. We heard also something that millennials, was it 58% of their first contracts fall through. And this is just my hypothesis, but I think it's because they are going to these apps, they are going to these sites, just picking something based off some rate, and then finding out that they either A, can't be qualified for it, or they need to pay for it, and they don't have that money.
We've got a loan getting ready to close next week. Okay. Now, this is the third loan that I've done for this family. Okay. She actually went to high school with my daughter, one of my daughter's best friends, and she trusts me and she knows me. All right.
That's a good start.
It's a good start. Well, she's already done business with us. Several of her friends have. Well, so they were going to do a construction to perm loan. And at that time, I could not do a construction to perm loan. We can do now. And so I had sent her to a bank that could. Well, they decided not to build the house, and they were under contract buying another house now. So that other bank had their information. So she calls me to get the quote, put it all together. And Jennifer, she calls me back, and this was 2 weeks ago Thursday because we're getting ready to close. We're coming back from Knoxville. She says, Kevin, I need to talk to you. I said, hey, take a second, take a break, because I know where you're going. All right. Just because I've known you since you're in second grade doesn't mean you have to use me. Okay. That's exactly what I said. I said, you do not have to use me. So what's going on? She said, well, your rate's a little bit higher and your closing cost is a little bit lower. I said, okay, what is the rate? She said it was 5%. We were locking her in at 5 1/8. You know what the difference in closing costs were? Because she didn't think that my prepaids were put in there. $4,000. Oh, we are out of time.
We are.
Well, you've been listening to Mortgage Sense with Kevin, a common sense approach to mortgages. Miss Jennifer, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having
Mel,
me.
thank you for being here.
You're so welcome. If you're out house shopping, feel free to give us a call at 423-488-7571. You've been listening to Mortgage Sense with Kevin right here on Nuga Radio 92.7.
Y'all have a happy Thanksgiving.
All comments and representations are not necessarily the views of Element Funding and PRMI, Primary Residential Mortgage Incorporated, DBA. Element Funding NMLS number 3094. PRMI is an equal housing lender. Some products and services may not be available in all states. Credit and collateral are subject to approval. Terms and conditions apply. Programs, rates, terms, and conditions are subject to change and are subject to borrower's qualification. This is not a commitment to lend. North Carolina Commissioner of Banks L12833. South Carolina Department of Consumer Affairs MLS 3094. Georgia Department of Banking and Finance 65.